Much for coming to this wonderful talk. This talk is going to be about how to keep your website from starving in the wilderness. I believe that's the title.
That is.
We didn't come up with the title, but we're here talking now, and that's what we're going to talk about. And this will be the most memorable experience of your Outdoor Retailer 2023 Summer Market. I promise you that. So why don't we start by introducing ourselves. I'm Adam. I'm the CMO of a company called Peak Design. We make backpacks, bags, photography gear, that kind of stuff. I'm based in Austin, Texas. And here's my pal, Brian. Brian, tell them a little bit about yourself.
I'm Brian Schmitt. I'm the co-founder of an agency called Surefoot, and we do A/B testing on e-commerce sites, mostly focused on outdoor and healthy lifestyle companies. And Peak Design has been a client of ours for 6 years now. And I hail from West Palm Beach, Florida.
But we're both originally from Missouri. Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. So many Missouri fans here today. That's great. All right. To understand, to fully kind of contextualize what we're about to talk about, you need to know a little bit about Brian versus Adam. So we made this helpful slide on this 19-inch television here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Brian is going to be speaking from a CRO agency point of view. That stands for, what does that stand for?
Conversion rate optimization.
Yeah. So Brian's a nerd, and he has a very deep understanding of website conversion rate optimization and all the tools and processes, and he's done it across a lot of different brands, whereas I come from a brand point of view. So what I am going to tell you is what works for Peak Design from our experience. Again, Brian nerds out about marketing every chance he can get, whereas I hate marketing, but I'm a CMO, so that's kind of weird. I'm just like the CMO that doesn't really like, I'm like that, not that passionate about marketing, but that's okay. We'll get to that later. Brian is a content man, emphasis on the second syllable there. He's just a happy guy, easy to get along with, whereas I am a content man. My favorite part of marketing is making funny, interesting, engaging content and entertaining people, that's how I kind of live with myself as a marketer. It's like, as long as I can make funny shit on a regular basis, I'm good with my job. And then if somebody decides to rush the stage, Brian will defend us because he is skilled in martial arts, whereas I will cower and hide. And then both of us, we're both really neat dads. We both like talking, which is why we're here. We both enjoy recreational psychedelics, which I'm sure resonates with some of you out there. And then together, we came up with these 5 indestructible truths about how to keep your website from dying in the wilderness, or even better yet, thriving and doing good. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We've got kind of 5 basic key themes, and we're going to unpack each one and then maybe do like a couple questions for each one. And then at the end, we can just kind of open it up to more questions. All right. But first, a little engaging anecdote to lighten the mood. I've got a nature story for you. So this is my son, Leo. That's him wearing a bunch of tattoos. That's him wearing shorts on his head. He's 3. And he was in my backyard the day before I came out here, and he was just like, what's that? I'm like, oh, that's a firefly. And he's like, what? It clearly wasn't computing, and so my wife showed him a picture of a firefly on the phone, and he goes, oh, but Papa, where are the nipples? That was just his question, where's the nipples on a firefly? So then I had to explain to him why fireflies don't have nipples, and that's what it's like being a parent of a 3-year-old. So, all right, that's got everybody so loosened up and excited and ready to go. Let's just jump into this. Truth number 1.
You are dumb.
You're dumb. So this is, what this means, to unpack this, it means that every idea that you have about what's going to work well on your website is just a hypothesis until you test it. And the only way that you can kind of reliably grow and improve your website is by constantly testing all of the decisions that you want to make regarding how to improve it. It's kind of a process of like checking your ego at the door and just being willing to test anything, even if it just flies in the face of what seems intuitive. And so some examples are, I think, first of all websites have like a ton of low-hanging fruit, where it's just like stuff that if you hire somebody like Brian, they'll come in on the first day and they'll be like, oh yeah, watch this. And an example of that is, this is our, you know, like when you're on a website and you add something to your cart and a little mini cart drops down? By making it used to hold there for like a second and then go back up. And like the first test we ran was, they're like, watch this, we're gonna make it hold there for 4 seconds. And it basically extrapolated to like $800,000 in additional revenue over a year. So it's just like small weird stuff like that is just lying around your website waiting for you to find. And yeah, it's there. Brian, do you have anything to say about that?
No, other than, don't make people think too hard, or chase things.
I think another thing is that you have unexpected duds. You have things that you think are going to obviously work well, and you test them, and they just don't work for your website. An example of this was this. This is our current homepage. This is a version of our homepage that was modeled after Allbirds' homepage, and you think like, Allbirds, $1 billion direct-to-consumer brand. Clearly, they've figured out homepages. Like, we're just going to rearrange our stuff to look like their stuff. Dud. Just didn't work out. People didn't prefer it, even though, like, I think reasonably you'd say, oh, but you can fit so many more products here, and it's so much clearer the different categories of things that we make. But people just kind of, that worked better. So that's kind of an example of something you'd think that would work that doesn't. Let's see. This is another one.
Filters.
Filters. Brian, do you want to talk about filters?
Sure. So one of the things that people often do is they're like, let's do this on our desktop site and our mobile website. And Peak ran a filters test on both, and it tanked on the desktop site, but did very well on their mobile website. So be prepared to decouple those experiences. People shopping on their phone have very different intent than people shopping on the desktop.
Yeah, that's true. Something that I did not want to do, I kind of got dragged kicking and screaming into, was the idea of basically having 2 different websites, one for mobile, one for desktop. But the more and more we test stuff, we find stuff that works on only one platform and does terribly on the other. And it's just kind of caused a divergence of our mobile and desktop experience. But ultimately, I think since we started working with you guys, originally our mobile conversion rate was like 0.5%.
Yeah, it was under 1. Yeah.
And now it's over 1.
Now it's about 3.5, I think. Yeah.
Oh, 3.5?
Yeah.
Jeez, wow. I need to look at the analytics more, man. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, this is another thing that didn't work. Sorry, we're starting out with all the things that don't work. This is probably, yeah. I wish I had more anecdotes about my 3-year-old. But anyway, we tried a try before you buy service. So we make bags that cost upwards of $300. We make a $500-$600 tripod. We thought, hey, if we give people the opportunity to try it for free before they buy it, clearly that's gotta move the needle. But it didn't. It didn't. And I wish I knew why.
And it was a lot of work and overhead to maintain that.
Yes, that's true too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just like, so this is an example of what we had. You have your add to cart button. We actually have already a used product platform, so you can buy used products from our site as well. So you can buy new or buy used, and then we added this like, or try it free, and that just didn't move the needle at all. Don't worry, we're going to talk about stuff that does work too. Oh, this brings us to truth number 2. By the way, any questions about truth number 1? Any questions at all? No? Okay. Oh, we got a hand over here. Yeah. Just shout it. The question is, how long do we test for? Brian, why don't you tell us about statistical significance in those things?
Yeah, we won't go into a stats lesson, but it varies according to where you are testing on the website. You have to reach a certain level of a sample size for it to be statistically significant, which is getting into some heavy math. But yeah, so it varies anywhere. If it's a homepage, it could be 2 weeks. If it's down at the bottom of your funnel, like near checkout, you have a lot less traffic hitting down there, it could be 2 months. So,
just out of curiosity, like by show of hands, how many people here are currently doing A/B testing on their website? And how many people here are here because they're interested in doing A/B testing on their website? Wow. Cool. And how many people are here
stared at them?
I don't know. I thought I was going to come up with a joke there, but I couldn't. Can't win them all. Can't win them all. All right, let's go on to truth number 2. There's conversion in them hills. This is a riff on the classic phrase, there's gold in them hills. Basically, to me, it means like once you find something that does work on your website, once you find a seam of success, you got to dig it all the way out. Like if you find something that works, quintuple down on it until it stops working. So some examples of that. 360-degree views. We did it for 5 different products where on our PDP, our product detail pages, we added in a spinnable 360-degree photographic view of it. It worked on 5 products, so then the next thing we did was roll it out to 30 products. And when it worked on that, we rolled it out to 200 products. So yeah, I guess pretty simple, straightforward thing, but like be ready to take what works and put the time and effort to implement it fully across everything.
Actually, 1 second. On that, a great way to the A/B test helps you save money is you don't have to go all in on something to figure out if it works or not. You can dabble in it and do a minimum viable test. So he did 5 products with the 360 views because they had to do all that videography essentially, right? Photography on that. And so it lets them dabble in it without the huge expense of going all in to see if it works or not. And it's a great way to save money and do that.
That's a good point. It costs us probably about $800 per product to get these 360-degree views created. And then also for hard goods, we make, things that aren't soft. We use our rendering vendor for that. And that also costs probably $500 to get a spinnable 360-degree view of that rendered nicely, which is obviously very expensive. So once you test it and realize that it's a big needle mover on add to carts, it's like a no-duh investment for all of your products.
Going back real quick to the try before you buy, like they didn't sign a contract with that company yet. They just tried it out before they went all in on the contract. And we do that a lot. People were like, oh, I want to try this new software on my site. And we can either mimic it and just like do a painted door test, which means it kind of resembles what's going to happen, and gauge the interest then before you go all in on a software or a new plugin for your website.
Yeah, actually, we did do a painted door test on when we first were going to offer payment installments on our site. We just like offered the button that gave you the option, and then a modal popped up that was like, oh, here's the deal. We didn't actually implement this yet, but if we did have it, like, how many monthly payments would you be interested in doing, And you can collect some information and hopefully not piss people off too much. Any questions about what is it? There's conversions in them hills. Remember, this is an undeniable truth of websites. So think about that. All right. Wow, we are crushing it, Brian. Let's go on. Nothing like a good friend. Truth number 3. This is actually like basically, if you want your website to do well, you can put all your time and energy into making your website perfect and optimizing the user experience on there, but it's not going to have a big impact unless you're already doing everything you possibly can to get the highest intent customers to your website. And for me, for Peak Design, the best way to do that has been, number one, through email and SMS marketing, and just like building those channels out as much as you possibly can. But by far, email and SMS are our highest ROI marketing channels. And I've kind of fought against my own company a little bit to like send more emails and do more SMS marketing, and like the rest of my company would be like, but Adam, texting people's creepy. And I'm like, it makes us lots of money and people actually like it. A lot of people actually prefer to be communicated via SMS now from brands that they like. And furthermore, I think there's a way to kind of scale these platforms that if you focus on like making actual engaging content and not just kind of using the canned formulas that you'll find on a lot of email and SMS platforms, but thinking about what a specific customer of your company might want to hear, or giving them kind of insightful details about who your company is that doesn't have to do necessarily with like buying more products. You can basically run a really high engagement email and SMS campaign, and getting those people to your website frequently is going to make your website perform better than just about anything else that you can do. So I don't have screenshots of this, but like our welcome series is like 5 different emails, and none of them are talking about buying more products. One of them is just a straight up, the first one is a straight up, like a paragraph, multi-paragraph letter from our CEO that's like, hey, here's why I started Peak Design, and thanks for, and we started climate neutral, and here's all these other cool things we did, and we also think you should vote, and thanks for coming by. And then another one is like, hey, check out our dumb videos on YouTube. And then another one is, here's why we founded Climate Neutral, which is a nonprofit that helps companies become carbon neutral. And it keeps going on, and none of them are buy more products or like, here's another thing you would like with your backpack. And we have like a 75% open rate on those emails, which is insane. Let's see, what else is there to this? Oh, so the other part, there's email and SMS, and then there's PR, and specifically affiliate-driven media, affiliate-driven earned media, and SEO-driven earned media. And by that, I mean the way we work with a PR agency called Purple Orange, and the way that they go about doing a majority of their work is they put themselves in the shoes of a customer and go to Google and Google best camera backpack or best camera strap or best travel backpack or whatever it is. And they look at all of the articles that are shown in the top 10, and then they contact all of those different publishers and say, hey, we'd like to send you a Peak Design bag to update your article with if you'd like. And by the way, you can also sign up for our affiliate program, which will give you a 20% commission on all of those sales. And the success rate of that is huge. And what it does is it just like puts all of your products into organic Google search results and results in a bunch of organic people who are searching because they're ready to buy and sending them to your website. And I don't know, I think for some people that's just like, duh, that's how PR works. For me, that's always been a bit of like a, really, that's like how it works? Like I thought journalists are more impartial than that. But really, like, they're following affiliate programs and they're trying to get as many clicks as possible on their articles. So I would say if you're doing PR yourself, like it's as simple as doing what I just explained, or if you have an agency or you're looking for an agency, really dig into how they utilize SEO and affiliate programs in getting earned placements. Any questions about that? Awesome. Guess I explained it perfectly, Brian.
It was.
Truth number 4. Make it easy for them to give you their money.
We have to pause for 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Because Adam needs a photo.
I just want to take a photo of me standing by this slide to show my friends, like, this is what marketing is. Thanks. This is our douchiest slide in the entire presentation. And what it just means is make shopping easy on your website, make decisions easy, if you can, make decisions fewer in number, and just reduce the friction as much as possible between getting somebody from the front page of your website to them checking out. And here's some ways we've done that. Number one is bundling add-on modals. This is a modal that pops up anytime you add something to the cart, and it's like, hey, we also recommend adding this. And actually, by the way, this particular screenshot doesn't have it. We have like bundling discounts where if you add multiple products together, you get a 10% discount. And we kind of try to plaster that throughout the shopping experience so that people know what they need to do next in order to get their discount. The discount's automatically applied at the end. This one here, shoppable quizzes, this is a huge one for us. Probably the most successful tests we've ever run were shoppable quizzes for bags, and this is for our line of phone accessories.
Wait, I want to talk to that one real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So he mentioned earlier about making it easy for people to make decisions, and that's what these do. We're calling them guided shopping experiences or quizzes, but it's about chunking up the decision process and not making a customer look across all of your catalog of products to decide where they want to go next. It's dividing it into smaller chunks of questions where they never have more. Like 8 is probably the max we'd ever want to show someone. It's more like 5 to 6. At a time, choices to choose from, and then once they dive into that, you present the next set of 5 to max 8 choices to choose from, and then they feel like they've had control of the journey, but they see the products they want to see, and that's it. They're not distracted with all the other things they don't want to see, and that's really critical to this process.
Yeah, these are also a great opportunity to collect an email address at the end. You say, give us your email, and we'll send you your results, and then you can create a post. A post survey email or SMS flow. And yeah, it's a fun shopping experience and people seem to like it.
Question.
The question was, where are these shopping experiences in our user journey? And the answer is they're kind of in multiple places. So if you were just to browse to this on our website, you'll find it under if you're to click like the bags menu or the mobile menu, you show all the products, and then the option is like, let us help you find the right product for you. We also use these a lot on our landing pages for ad campaigns. Where would that fit in the make it easy? Is landing pages, ad campaign specific landing pages, kind of like a make it easy thing?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So we make we have a lot of content on our website that you can't browse to. You can only find it by landing on it from an ad campaign. Or an email. And that stuff is among some of our best performing stuff. And I used to really I used to really freak out and be like, no, it has to be navigable, and what people are going to get freaked out by this. But no, it doesn't matter. And it allows you to basically completely tailor your messaging to whatever it is that person was kind of coming from. So if it's an email about the mobile line and whatever, using it for off-roading purposes, you click shop now and it takes you to a landing page that's like, these are the best off-roading mobile products in the world. Take our shoppable quiz. Rather than just kind of dumping them onto the web page, the landing page that's like bags and camera gear and all these other things. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you basically said it. I'd just add one little thing. Is a lot of people are having to cut right now. It's been a trend for probably the last year of cutting your ad spend, but it still needs to carry the same amount of traffic that it was carrying before. And doing these customized landing pages for that traffic greatly increases not just the click-through rate, but then also the conversion. But it lowers your CAC, right? Your customer acquisition cost, because Google sees them clicking through. It says, this is relevant. Let's serve them a cheaper ad next time. And so it helps your ad spend go further.
Buy with Prime. I actually just talked to our head of e-comm this last week about that. I haven't tried it. So the question is, have we tried Buy with Prime, which is essentially on a product detail page, you've got your add to cart button. You can now add a button below that says, or Buy with Prime, and it takes you to Amazon Prime, the corresponding product page, and you can buy it there. And my gut reaction was just like, why would I want to do that? But then, I mean, when I really zoom out and look at Amazon and our website. So Amazon, we do about the same amount of revenue now on Amazon that we do on our website. And when all things are considered, we're actually making about the same margin on Amazon that we are on our website. So like a sale on Amazon versus a sale on our website for Peak Design right now brings in the same amount of profit. You could argue that a website sale brings in a higher LTV customer because they're sort of within our marketing sphere and we can send them emails and stuff like that. But a sale's a sale. And to answer your question specifically, we have not tried it. My head of e-comm, he used to work at Ridge Wallets. And then before that, a company called Moment, they're a retailer of photography gear. And he had tried it at Ridge and with kind of lackluster results. And so for us, for right now, we're just kind of like, well, if he's tried it already and didn't work out that great, we'll table that test for later. But it's an interesting one for sure. I
can speak to that with other clients. We have tested it. And all the other payment options. You've got Amazon, you've got Google Pay, not just the wallet pieces, but that one's the Amazon one. It varies by device. Again, mobile people want less options to choose from for their checkout process, but it is beneficial when they are on their mobile device because they're probably already logged in to Amazon because they've been shopping on it on their mobile device. Desktop, you can provide all the options. You have the space to do that, and people are more likely to leverage some of those from their desktop. And of course, their device OS matters too, right? Yeah.
Cool beans. All right. I think I had one more thing to talk about there, but
the homepage collection.
Oh yeah, another thing in the make it easy for them to give you money. So the thing I showed before, where we tested our homepage against a Allbirds style homepage, what made it easy was just like this. All of the category tiles on our homepage. You'll see a little banner at the top, and then below that, it's just studio images of the products we make that are clickable to go to those collection pages. And that was one of the first tests that we did 6 years ago when we started working with Surefoot, and it was a winner, and we have not been able to topple it. We tried so many different versions of our homepage, and the easiest one has just been just pictures of our stuff. And to me, that's just like a testament to making it easy to get from the very top of the website down to the specific category or product that you want to be at.
We'll talk to that again real quick. We run into a lot of brands that want to tell the brand story on the homepage, but so many times customers are coming to your site and they're like, I was searching for a water bottle. Do you sell water bottles? I can't see them on the homepage because you're telling me about your nonprofit and all the things you're involved in. And we had a client that for a long time resisted putting product on their homepage, and once they did, it was blew the doors off. And now that's almost a no-touch area for them that took a year for them to get to that stage. So, yeah.
My compromise as a person who likes as a content man, my compromise there is we take all of our brand storytelling and we've put it way down at the bottom of our homepage. So 75% of customers don't really scroll beyond viewable when they land there. But if somebody's really interested in our brand, they can scroll past the product and then learn about our sustainability and our CSR and our social justice programs and all that kind of stuff, our design philosophy and all these other things. And then the final truth, fun is better than not fun, which I know it's hard to believe, but I've found this to be true. This is my kind of add to this, which is that again, going back to not really liking marketing that much, like for me to enjoy my job, I need to be able to like make fun and funny stuff, and stuff that like I can look at and be like, huh, that's good. And I guess my thought is like, don't be afraid to do that. Don't, even if you have like a really serious kind of product or offering, you want to be taken seriously as a brand. This is another thing I've kind of had to fight internally for. I think it's okay to juxtapose serious, meticulously designed products with like an irreverent brand voice. And I think like you go to Apple's website, and they have these serious, meticulously designed products, and their website is very serious and meticulously designed. You're like, okay, yeah, I get it, Apple. You're serious. You really think highly of yourself. And then you go to Yeti's website, and nothing against Yeti, I love them, but like their website is very much just like, we're tough. Like look at how tough we are. And it's like, yep, I get it. Yeah, you make stuff. But you go to our website, and it's kind of like this, like it's a little bit of a balance between being very serious about our product design philosophy and our sustainability and all this kind of stuff, but also being able to like take ourselves lightly, being able to throw our own faces into our marketing quite a bit. I think a lot of brands don't do enough like just being like, hi, I'm Adam from Peak Design, and just like putting your face on the website, putting your face and your name on your emails that you send out, on your YouTube videos or whatever. I think it helps customers connect a little bit more with your brand and that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, some examples, like making the not fun stuff fun. Like this is an email collection modal, and it's just like a little bit like, hey, you know how this works. Like, come on, give us your email and step into the warm embrace of our marketing tendrils. So like if you're looking there and you actually read it, you might be like, huh, these guys are weird. Like, that's cool. Another example is our cookies modal, which is just sort of our gear's the best in the biz. Our cookie pop-up is as average as you get. Can't win them all. But like, yeah, just don't use the canned versions of those things. Do something that's a little bit more on brand. Everybody has to interact with it. Like it's this known annoyance, and just like kind of own it. And then here's an example. I put this at the bottom of an email last week. Just like, it's a possum wearing a cowboy hat talking about our new hand strap in like a cheesy Western accent. Did anybody read it? I don't know. Did anybody think it was funny? I don't know. I did. Did it help with conversion? Probably not. Did it do any harm? Probably not. Do I like asking myself questions? Definitely. So anyway, that's what being fun is for me.
Yeah, I would say fun is a dynamite if you use it well, and it will blow things up, but it will also blow things up. If you don't land it right, it can be a mess to leave behind. So make sure you've got someone who has experience in it. Adam is very experienced in it. Also has a great voice. When you read Peak Design, you're reading Adam. That's like hanging out with Adam, basically. And so have someone like that on your team that is able to handle that and consistently bring that to the mix. If you don't have that, don't force it. It will not land well.
I'm sure everybody remembers the joke I told about my 3-year-old at the beginning of this presentation. If you remember, the entire audience was just laughing hysterically. That's probably another great example of that. You guys were just laughing really hard for a while. Well.
Any questions?
That's the end. Yeah. We'd just like to open it up and ask, any questions about any aspects of websites or other things?
Yeah, great chat, guys. One question, do you guys sell on your own homegrown platform, or do you guys use Shopify or anything like that? And then 2, are there any types of features or optimizations you want to make, but it's a big kind of lift on the product roadmap and you can't do it because of investment, time, XYZ?
Good question. We use Shopify for our main e-commerce website. and we use I think I'm getting interference here. We use another platform called Recurate for our used product sales. And yeah, I mean, I guess I know that we've certainly run up against some. I'd say the biggest roadblock we've run up against from a technology standpoint is we warehouse our products in 6 different countries, and Shopify is just not that great at like showing localized pricing and taxes and inventory levels, and it's been a big struggle for a long time. But the head of e-comm that we just hired was specifically hired to like fix that problem. I don't know how he's going to fix it, but he says he can, and I believe him.
Well, 2 things. Well, we manufacture backyard ice hockey rink. We also ship out of 3PLs across North America. So let's chat after this because we have the same issue and we're trying to solve it right now. 2, you talked about how SMS is one of the best revenue drivers on your website. When you go on the website, it asks for your email and not for your phone number. Is there a reason for that? Do you get higher like throughput of phone numbers or success rate?
Good question. So it should, I believe, once you enter your email, then ask you for your phone number. So we usually do a 2-step process to kind of get both. My head of e-commerce I was talking with him last week, and he was telling me, I was asking him like, how much do you think like an email and a phone number is like worth to us? And like his back of the envelope calculation is that an email is worth $2 and a phone number is worth $4. And that's just based on the amount of revenue that those 2 platforms have driven from like last click. So in general, we always try to kind of get both. The problem with SMS is that it's not always as reliable internationally, and a lot of like Attentive, one of the big SMS providers, they don't even really do international SMS marketing that well. There's all sorts of legality problems, and so you can't always like. We have about 50% of the people that purchase from our website are outside the U.S., and so we have to kind of be careful about when we're like pushing SMS in addition to that. But I will say, so another anecdote on the email and SMS side, again, this is from our head of e-comm that was at Ridge Wallet. 2 years ago, he ran a promotion where Ridge Wallet, they basically got a like $150,000 brand new Ford Bronco that was like kitted out with this insane off-road package and gave it away. And it was just like, give us your email and SMS, and then we'll give it away. So it cost them $150,000 to run this promotion, and they said that it took them about 2 weeks to like break even after the promotion was over, and sending out coupon codes and stuff like that, and incorporating those people into their email flows. 2 weeks to break even from that spend, and then it was all just upside from there. And so. Yeah, there's just a lot of merit to investing heavily in email and SMS collection before you invest in like other kind of top of funnel advertising or billboards or podcasts or anything like that. Like it's like the lowest hanging fruit in my opinion.
So I have a question about the painted door feature where you built a feature on your site and then behind it was actually a survey, and you were saying you didn't want to upset everyone. So what was the engagement? How many people answered, and how many people do you think you really just ticked off?
That's a good question. I'll put it this way. I don't remember the exact stats for that, but in general, you always, and anytime you're like, oh man, this is going to kind of annoy people, you always end up annoying about 1% of the people that you think you're going to annoy. You always annoy way, way less people, from my experience. And again, I think I've come from the standpoint of like historically, we've always really tried to really tried to back off heavy-handed marketing tactics. But like one thing that we said we would never do is put an email collection modal on our website. And we did, and it was just like, oh, here come the complaints, and there was just not a peep about it. And then when our head of e-comm came in, he's just like, what are you doing? Like, you need to have a full page email collection modal. I was just like, no, I couldn't do that. Like, that would be so disruptive. And it's just like increased our signups by 10x, and we've gotten 0 complaints about it. And so yeah.
And there's ways to mitigate that too, like that painted door test we did. We didn't run that for 2 months. It ran for like a week and a half, maybe 10 days. Right? It's very quick. We just need to get a trend of what's happening. And then also on the email modal collection, like don't pop it immediately when people hit your homepage. Give them time to browse, figure out what they're doing, and then if they show interest through behaviors like hitting a couple pages, scrolling down, then show your collection modal. Yeah. Too many people pop that right away, and Google actually will ding you for that. So especially on a mobile device.
Pretty sure we pop ours right away, so we're going to have to get on that.
Yeah.
I have a question that I'm going to try to simplify, but I'm kind of wondering how many people you have writing your content, and also how that ties into the strategy and the testing. And it's because it sounds like you're doing more feature-based testing, but I'm curious if you're doing anything related to the content and also how you're maintaining the brand voice, if it's mostly like what we're seeing is you. Does that make sense? Like the actual wording of what you have on your website, like, hey, you know the drill about the email collection thing, for example.
So when it comes to content, I kind of, being a content man, I'm sort of, the way I kind of try to structure it is I'll try to kind of create thematically, like the brief or the, if it's something that I'm particularly interested in, like something like this or this or this, I might write the copy myself. Otherwise, we have a few other folks on our team that will dabble in copywriting, as well as some of our partners, both Surefoot and Vulgar, our advertising partner, write a lot of copy. And I think part of us picking them as partners was being reassured that we would be able to kind of work with them to have them be able to channel our brand voice, because it's definitely not scalable to just have the brand providing every single bit of copy for, especially when it comes to performance advertising, every Facebook and Instagram ad and stuff like that. Like, you need to be able to have somebody that can like bang out 12 different headlines easily. And so, yeah, it's been a matter of like being choosy about who we work with, and kind of starting by being like, all right, we care a lot about how we sound, and kind of leading them through the sort of peak design brand voice 101 process at the beginning.
Does that answer your question?
I'm wondering how that ties into the testing, and then because you mentioned the fun, like you said it's dynamite, and I thought that was a really interesting concept, and I think that ties back into the copy. It could be really great or not, and I'm curious if you guys are doing either with Surefoot or another agency partner, like testing of the copy itself.
Yeah, they definitely tested in the ad side, and then we test when it's appropriate in a test. But a lot of our tests, especially on the peak side, have been around, like you said, functionality, the UI, UX element, and then the journey part of it. Yeah, but we definitely, we've done copywriting. Adam's, especially in the early days, was really like in there helping us write the copy, so we got the brand voice in the test. Yeah.
We also, this goes for our work with Surefoot, our CRO agency, our media agency, and our advertising agency. Like, we're super collaborative with them. They're like in our Slack channels. Everything that goes out kind of has a review process. And so I think the ideal situation is, for a lot of things, our partners are kind of writing the copy that pertains to their piece of the puzzle. And then we kind of give it a once over to be like, yeah, that's good. That passes the test. Any other questions?
You mentioned making a similar revenue and profit on Amazon. Obviously, there's some fees associated. Is that similar profit because there's less associated ad spend?
That's definitely part of it. Although actually we've been, as a percentage of our revenue, we're spending more on Amazon right now, which is actually something that I think we can like tamp down quite a bit. But I think it has more to do with the overhead to run a website. You know, like when I look at all the expenses that go into our website, I look at the expense of the CRO work we're doing, the expense of like our website has so much more content on it that needs to be updated and maintained. We have so many more different kind of like marketing services that are tied to our website. And there's also the whole like logistical component of making sure it's tied to our 3PL and back-end shipping system and stuff like that. And it's not an exact calculation, you know, because a lot of the things that support our website are also elevating our brand in general. So it's certainly, I would certainly never like, our website's by far more important of a marketing asset and a brand asset than Amazon will ever be. But I can sleep very easily at night getting, you know, if Amazon surpasses our website in revenue, that won't bother me too much. But that also comes from the standpoint of like our Amazon and website revenue together is only like, that's like 20% of our revenue, and the other 80% is wholesale. And so we have the benefit of kind of being distributed across multiple channels. If we were just selling direct and we were half and half website and Amazon, like, then we're definitely like, it's a little more risky because Amazon could just be like, hey, we're gonna double our fees, you know, tomorrow. Or they actually tried to kick us off the platform once because they wanted us to, we sell on Amazon, they wanted us to sell to Amazon so Amazon could resell it, and we refused to, and they kind of tried to strong arm us a little bit, and, you know, luckily nothing came out of it, but yeah. I don't know, also a lot of ways, speaking of Amazon, I think a lot of people know of Peak Design because of a video that we put out in 2019 where Amazon like directly copied one of our bags. We have a bag called the Everyday Sling, and Amazon made a bag called the Everyday Sling that looked exactly like our camera bag, and they sold it for $34, and ours was like $100, and we were just like, those fuckers. And we steamed about it for a while, and then we just decided to like make a video that was like, you know, introducing the Everyday Sling by Peak Design and the Everyday Sling by Amazon. They both look suspiciously similar, but, you know, this one doesn't have years of research and development behind it and all that. It kind of like made a tongue-in-cheek commercial, and it was just like the right message. And it went like kind of viral and got us on like the John Oliver show and stuff like that. So like that was our little 15 minutes of fame, was just punching up back at Amazon. Yeah, but at the same time, like Peak Design and all of our employees utilize Amazon constantly, and we had a lot of interviews that came out of that. It was just like, you know, like, how are you guys gonna punch back against Amazon next? And we're like, actually, like, they're kind of like one of our most important partners in a sense, and, you know, they're fine. We're fine with it. We're cool. So yeah.
Didn't they pull that product down?
They did pull the product down, so win for the little guys.
Question?
Hi. What would you say are good strategies to grow your wholesale line of business on the marketing side?
At first, I was like, I don't know. But actually, I think over the last couple of years, our marketing and wholesale teams we used to kind of be very siloed from each other. And now our marketing and wholesale teams work super closely together. And really what we did was we staffed up, specifically like graphic design. We really staffed up that side of the team because the wholesale team, in order to be successful, we also hired a merchandiser. The wholesale team, in order to be successful, they need all sorts of like a lot of print collateral, a lot of digital collateral, lookbooks. They need like good POPs and POPs that are like vertical specific. And it was just like way beyond what the marketing team was capable of doing. And it's stuff that's like really expensive to outsource. And every time you're outsourcing, even if you do pay to outsource, you spend a ton of time managing these partners. And you're like, no, the POP needs to have this messaging hierarchy and all this kind of stuff. And it was like this realization that like we're never going to be able to teach somebody how to do this better than we can. And since wholesale's driving 80% of our revenue, like we might as well staff up. And so now the marketing team is kind of more of like an in-house creative agency that services multiple departments of the company. I'd say that's kind of how we've overall found success there.
Any others? All right.
Oh, one more.
So I have a question around the frequency that you test a feature on your website, not the duration, the frequency. So you brought up the product images at the top of the page is just a winner. And so there's a temptation to think, oh, we need to refresh our site, keep it fresh for returning visitors. But if that's the winning or if that's the human behavior, how often do you test against that? So.
I'll actually talk about another client real quick. Hydro Flask is a client. They've been a client for just a hair longer than Peak. And the gentleman that used to be there as the director of e-commerce had his boss come to him one day and says, I love the new homepage redesign. He's like, we didn't redesign the homepage. And she's like, it looks very different than it did a year ago. And he's like, it's been iterated on like 18 times since a year ago, and it looks totally different. But each little piece, we know how it impacted revenue. It wasn't just a complete, let's throw this out there and see what happens, because you have, maybe above the fold does really well and increases your conversion rate, but things down the page hurt their conversion rate and it washes out and you don't know the difference. And so it's a constant iteration. Adam mentioned earlier that we've tried multiple times to beat the tiles that won when we first came in. And I'm guessing 4 or 5 times we've tried to do that over 6 years. So yeah, it really, and it's always just watching. You're looking at other sites and getting ideas from them and keep like a swipe file of like, this is a good idea. I like how this interacts. Let's try this. This would be great for Peak to try. And so it's just keeping your eyes open for stuff like that and then trying it. Yeah.
And I think there's also an element of kind of just like knowing when to walk away, like the category tiles on the homepage. You try and try and try, and you're like, we're not getting anywhere. Let's leave this alone and go to a completely different other part of our website. And there's just there's always going to be like an endless kind of breadth of opportunities.
The gold vein analogy he used earlier. I have 2 analogies I like to use when testing. There's the Battleship. Remember Battleship, the game, when you're younger? So you're kind of doing some random things. Not random, but you're like identifying parts of your site that have friction for your customer. And there's different ways of doing that. Using interviews, different things like that, heat maps. And you just try things. And then when you hit one, you kind of circle around it and try to dial in a little better of like what's really going on here that I can fix. And then there's the gold vein thing of like, we have this idea. Let's test it. It works great. Can we push it a little further? Can we push it a little further? And it's staying with the same idea, but chasing it back as far as you can to get little incremental and conversion rate improvements. All right. Thank you all.
Hey, thanks for coming. If you guys want to get in touch with us, there's our emails. All right. Cool beans. Peace.